Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the CBL X's and O's podcast for season 2023. Sammy Gazzo from the Mildura Heat again joining me today, and we're going to review what was round 5, Sammy. And in the men, no more undefeated teams. Both of the undefeated teams copped an L on the weekend, and they both bounced back on the Sunday to get big wins as well.
Yeah, thanks, Matty. You're looking a bit red in the face. There must have been some sunshine wherever you were, mate. Let's put that out there. Love it. But anyways, yeah, no, exactly right. On the Saturday night, both ourselves and Castlemaine seemed to have our first loss, getting a good, probably the best effort from both the teams we played. They wanted to be that team, and they both did. But, happy we're able to bounce back, and looking at Castlemaine, they probably were as well. So, sometimes it's good to get that loss out of the way because now you don't have to worry about being undefeated. You can just go ahead and do your business. But the ladder seems very interesting. Round 5 seems to sort of have shaped the finals probably a couple of rounds sooner than I might have expected, to be honest. But looks like we might have our 4 or 5 teams in each sort of section just playing it out for a position.
Yeah, we certainly do. Let's start in the men, and Zach Dunball, shooting 29 points for Maryborough, was able to get the Blazers over the line against Castlemaine by 3 points.
Yeah, and he seemed to have some support there by Bailey Jacobs, who scored 23 as well. They just obviously, I think they only had 9 players as well by the looks of it off the top of my head. But, Castlemaine went in there, and, it's one of those things when you travel, you're an opposition team, and especially if you're undefeated, I'm sure they would have given him a good crack. 3 points. Castlemaine have been on the end of winning a lot of those close games. So, I guess, without knowing too much, they probably just made a couple of those big plays towards the end of the game, which was similar to our game. It does make a difference. You've got to execute. That's basketball. So, but I think as well, Castlemaine are probably a little bit happy to get that loss. It's not that you want to lose, but sometimes when you're undefeated, they hunt you a little differently. So, as we saw on Sunday, I think they'll be fine.
And then your team, Mildura, went down to Bacchus Marsh and unfortunately couldn't get the job done, going down by 8 points.
Yeah, just, Bacchus Marsh, a team well coached, just seemed to make those plays towards the end, and that's what matters. You got to execute. So we missed some shots we probably would have liked to make, and they made them. So that's a difference at the end of the game, and full credit to them. So, we got that loss, and we moved on to Sunday.
And you talk about Sunday there. Bacchus Marsh had to back it up on the Sunday, and they travelled down to Bendigo and just got done. 40 points. Bendigo run out victors, and that's Bacchus Marsh's 4th loss for the season. And, looking at the ladder, potentially that does them for the top 4 position.
It almost seems like a tale of 2 teams. It feels like Friday night might have been all guns blazing, and maybe we let them do that a little bit. Not too sure, but they played really great basketball, and then to go to Bendigo and Bendigo were giving them a nice little, I don't know if you'd say tune-up or maybe a little bit of a, not a reality check, but, giving them a good go, not playing on the Saturday night, 3 o'clock, Bendigo on a Sunday, and 40 points. That's a decent margin because, Bacchus Marsh for a good team. It seems like Zach Martinez, who had a good game on the Saturday night, and Riley Dunn sort of gave it their best. But, Lockie O'Brien, one of the better players in the league, just seemed to lead the way for Bendigo, and they get a good win. Interesting, after their 2 losses, I think they've sort of gone, no, that's not who we are, and I think that's 3 on the trot now, so puts them back up to 3rd place and probably just about where they think they should be as well, so contending for those top 4 spots.
And you talk about that being a good team, Castlemaine are a great team as well, and they bounced back from Saturday night, taking on Melton, who, this was going to be a really good clash. But, it's, 22 points they've come in and just said, we stuffed up Saturday night, we lost, but, we're back, here we go. See you later, Melton.
Yeah, exactly right. And it just seems like they might have jumped them from the get-go. And that's what a loss can do for me. I think that's the positive thing about having a game the next day. When you feel that loss, you get less than 24 hours to make up for it or make some changes or corrections or and get another chance at it. And a bit of a surprising 22 points, I'd say. I didn't think that would be the gap. And also considering Castlemaine don't really blow teams out too much, and Melton being a quality side. So seems like, again, Trent Leach and just like Pattinson and Chris Hogan, the better players there at Castlemaine, really led the way and just said, okay, yeah, Saturday night was a little bit of a stuff up and proved a bit of a point to the rest of the league, really, that, hey, we might have stuffed up, but, we're still, top two side.
Yeah, that's it. And you mentioned Josiah Patterson there. Just a quick shout out to Jez. He's committed to go to college. Can't remember which college and where it is, but I've seen something socially
Frank
posted.
Phillips. I think it was Frank Phillips. He's good mates with one of the boys on our team, and yeah, I think it's Frank Phillips, Division One Junior College in Texas. I'm going to say, throw it out there.
So yeah, shout out to Jez.
So congrats.
Congratulations
awesome.
on getting that opportunity. It's CBL over to the States. That's amazing. And shout out to Jez for getting that opportunity. And we have a look at Sunday's game for you guys, and you guys bounced back pretty hard as well, taking on Swan Hill, and you ran out 43-point victors. That's a huge bounce back for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those things, exactly right. Lost Saturday night. The challenge is to regroup, and we did so, and just executed better on the Sunday than what we did on the Saturday night. That's all I can say, really. And then we did what we did, and thank you for putting 3 road trips together. I know you've only mentioned us once on the road trip of 1,000 kilometres, but doing it 3 weeks in a row, we appreciate actually that it's over. So hopefully no more road trips. So thank you. Appreciate it.
That's it. And we'll take a quick look at the ladder. And you guys still on top after having the loss with a 6-1 record. Castlemaine on your toes, though. Nipping. They've got a 6-1 record as well. So I'm looking forward to, I think that's round 8. You guys play each other. That's going to be a really good battle to see who finishes first and who finishes second. That's if the next couple of rounds go the way we think they will. Sitting in third is Bendigo with a 4-2 record. Followed closely Macedon Rangers as well, nipping at their heels, 4-2. Can't really split them two teams currently. Fifth is Melton, 3-2 record, and I think they're the top 5 teams fighting for 4 spots. We then have, Bacchus Marsh, Maryborough, Echuca, Swan Hill. They've all suffered at least 4 defeats, and I think they're going to find it tough to make the top 4 from 4 losses. And then Kyneton, unfortunately, round out the ladder. No wins yet, so your thoughts on the top 5? You think the top 5 are going to be, them 5 teams are battling it out now for the top 4 positions?
Yeah, you'd think so. Just having a look at the ladder, Bacchus Marsh probably, they did have a tough weekend. Had the win against us on a Saturday night. That win against Bendigo probably would have helped them stay. They have played 7 games, 4 losses. You compete against sort of Melton and Macedon, 5 and 6 games, so they're already a game ahead with those losses. So it does make it pretty tough for them moving forward. I agree with you at this stage, not knowing everyone's run home, but those 5 teams are probably going to be fighting it out for those last 4 spots.
And let's shuffle across to the women now. And Faith McKenzie and the Maryborough Blazers hosted the top of the table Kyneton, and unfortunately, Faith shot 19 points to try and drag her team over the line, but it was 8 points short of the W.
Yeah, it seems like, you got 2 players there, Jess Mangan and Alex Strawhorn there, that have made up 44 points out of a possible 65, so it seems like they carried a lot of the load, but that makes a difference. I think we've noticed with Kyneton, they're not overly large scores, but they do defend quite well and keep teams to lower scores. So, without remembering all their wins and losses, they haven't really blown teams out. They've just got the job done. Seems like they've done that again, and that's why they're, towards the top end of the ladder. Just being able to get those wins when it matters.
And Mildura, the women were able to set the tone for you guys going into Bacchus Marsh, and this was going to be a really great battle. I think it was, 4th versus 5th or 5th versus 6th. They were really close on the ladder prior to this round, and Mildura have come in and walked away with a 4-point win, which has really set them up for a top 4 position now.
yeah, the women did a great job. It was a task for them going into there. It's a great place to play, by the way, St. Francis Catholic School there. But yeah, they went in there and they just executed. Alana Morello obviously had a great game with 24 points and leads the way as the young experience playing NBL one out at Forestville over in South Australia. She's a gun for us and she played really well. I was really looking forward to the matchup with her and Layla Iglesias, who's obviously a podcast favourite. But an injury to her during the game might have been in the second quarter, kept her out for most of the game. So really big credit to the rest of the team. Yelena Savage there, who had 18 points, for them to fight without what would be and what would seem as their best player. They kept going and going and going. It was a tough tussle towards the end. So kudos to them for keeping it close. And obviously Mildura getting the win helps their final scores, definitely.
Yeah, quick question on, you mentioned St. Francis there. They've moved out into that venue this season. I'm hearing big crowds. Did you experience a big crowd?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was. The stands are set back just a little bit, but they've also got a row of chairs there on the sidelines. And yeah, they got a scoreboard there, the announcer there, a bit of music, so great atmosphere. And yeah, but there was a great crowd for both the women's game and for the men's. So good on Bacchus Marsh for getting the community involved out of Mountain West and for getting those crowds to come and cheer them on. So yeah, it was great games, both of them. The atmosphere, definitely.
So I'm hearing their CBL delegate, Lee Bradbury, is cooking 500 to 700 sausages each home game that they're hosting there. That's how big the crowds are. Did you grab one on your way past?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Even though the gentleman out the front having a lovely beard, better beard than I did, so kudos to him. But no, I didn't grab one on the way past. It was all business. And unfortunately, on the road trips, we eat, I shouldn't say, well, we don't eat very well. So we'd already eaten on the way in. But if you told me in advance, I would have made a special effort to make sure I had room. I would have grabbed extra. But no, they was great. They do have the smelt great. I just didn't get any. So apologies. Next time, definitely.
That's okay. I just heard the story during the week that he's out the front doing that and he's running around organizing everything. So shout out to Lee, doing a great job there. Sunday, the Mildura team was able to travel back to Swan Hill and they walked out of there with a 10-point victory. And, Swan Hill, they've got two players in that shot 20 points and obviously they caused some issues for you guys.
Yeah, well, it was an interesting game. It was just ebbed and flowed a little bit. I think Mildura, we got on top just at the start, and it just seemed to sort of keep that way all along. It didn't really, it's probably about 6 points, and then it go out to 10 or 12. So it sort of kept at that sort of margin. Swan Hill, we're giving it a good crack, considering that they'd only won the one game so far this season. They did give it a red hot crack, but obviously the girls were happy that they were able to execute and walk out with the win. And Ava and Alana leading the way for us. But yeah, Demi Hallam and Zoe Morris there, scoring 20-something points each out of the 63. They seem to carry the load and give it a good crack, but I think the Mildura girls are happy they got away with that one.
And then Bendigo hosted Bacchus Marsh, and you want to give a shout out here. There's two names you mentioned last week that we didn't potentially see, and bang, they're back in the leading scorers for you.
We can't say Poppy popped up Blanche. No, anyways. But yeah, so Poppy and Lavinia, just wanting to get their names out there again. So 21 and 20 points respectively. Did a great job. It was always going to be tough for Bacchus Marsh. Looks like Layla didn't play. So again, you're losing someone that's scoring around 20 plus points every game and really does anchor that offense. But 19 points is respectable, considering. But, the two losses over the weekend probably hurts their final chances, and for Bendigo, it probably just solidifies their positioning, probably heading up into that top two mark where you want to be for that home final come finals time.
That's it. And we'll take a quick look at the ladder, and Crichton in their win over the weekend keeps them on top with a 5-1 record, and they Melton had the week off and they're closely following with a 4-1 record. So Melton still have 5 games to play, which is a lot of games when everyone else has played 6 or 7. So hopefully Melton can keep on that winners list and potentially hold their second position. But then we've got, Bendigo and Mildura, both teams on a 5-2 record, and Bendigo have obviously got the head-to-head there. So I think that's where the ladder might fluctuate a little bit between Melton and Bendigo. We'll just wait and see how Melton play a few extra games to come. Bacchus Marsh 3-3, sitting fifth. I think they're nearly done. They're relying on some other game results now potentially, but again, they might come out and win the rest of their games, and then we've got to start going. Oh, they're 7-3 to finish the season. That's got to be close to finals. So and then we've got Swan Hill, Maryborough, and then Macedon on the bottom, still winless, but I reckon they're going to get a win somewhere this season. They've still got 4 more games to go. They're going to find a win.
Yeah, they've been close. It's obviously comes down to executing when it matters with Macedon. But yeah, probably agree with you there. It's probably those top 4 teams. I mean, you're right, Bacchus. They got 4 games in hand, and they only have the 3 losses, but they do rely on a couple of results the other way. And I think they might have Kyneton next week, which obviously we'll go through. But yeah, they'd probably want to start picking up the next couple of games and cause a couple of upsets. So yeah, maybe 4 there, maybe 5 if that, contesting, and otherwise most of maybe the top 4 are just dancing for position. So be interesting to see. I know Melton are coming up next week against us, so that'll play a big part in where those 2 teams finish.
It sure will. That's going to be a cracker game next week, but that pretty much is our round 5 review done, dusted. Some really good games this weekend, and you know what? We'll jump on a call later this week and we'll preview, a bigger, better, more exciting round 6 when we've got more teams playing each other, jumping up and down the ladder.